All right, S&P. Everyone sat on the bleachers today just watching GameStop and AMC. That's it. The S&P did literally nothing today. A little bit up, a little bit down, flat. What do we really? Yeah, so 13th, that was when we opened. Yeah, so pre-market we were up and then just melted the rest of the day. Ultimately holding that zone. S&P, as far as the expected moves, again, nothing. NASDAQ, also nothing to talk about here. So far, we rejected this zone, but look at how we rejected. So playing the back and forth game, jumped up, hit that zone, sold off. Okay, so there's your level of sellers. You want to judge the bulls, see what kind of bears show up. There we are. We have that many bears. And then we do it again. And that's as far as we get. As far as the bulls go, there might have been 10 bears there. 10 bearish orders. Let's just say there's 10 bears. They're all going to sell 100 shares. Okay, 800 of them fill. The last 200 fill right here, and then it starts to look like we get forward. Unless these two just call up their friends and say, "No, I mean it this time. It's time to sell off," and then we send it. Powell is tomorrow morning. Yeah, pre-market. So you're on that ride unless you're trading futures right now. So by the time my morning recap video comes out, ta-da, we're going to be up or down. We're probably going to be one of these zones. If we're up, I would see if by the bell we actually stay up, if we don't just reject right here. If we melt down, that would be the possible dip buy. Also, another possible dip buy. Let's just watch this range, because if it doesn't break this, then there's just no point in talking. Let's break above or below this and get a close, not just this. If you have an alert right here, that alert's going to sound, and then it's going to close right back in. Like, all right. And it's going to do it again. You're like, could be, and then, no, it's going to just disappoint you. And then 4 times in a row, you're going to get that alert. It's going to suck. When it finally closes, that'll probably be the direction we head, both up or down. So I would just keep an eye on that. I don't want it on that. It's right on that white line because that zone just rejected perfectly, but it'll be impossible to grab that line later. Anyway, that's the level I'd be watching. Expected move, nothing. What'd the Russell do today? A little bit more exciting, at least. Yeah, a little bit more defined. That's all. Gosh. I gotta say, I'm still looking for a pullback in the markets. I am still short the markets. And just like we saw, but for a pullback, pulling back into that zone, stops will be in the green. Hopefully I've made a bunch of money, and I'll probably have to look to buy the dip at this point. But again, stops will be in the green. So if we just blast through into these lower zones, I'm all for it. Send it. Burn this thing to the ground. Meet Kevin, all of them. Make the thumbnails. Do the panic face. Flames. Red. Everything's going to zero. Why I'm short the market. Meet Kevin talk about why he's flip-flopping, but why his course just went up again. How much is Meet Kevin's course? It's got to be a literal $1 million for how much he's raised the price. If he's raised the price $1 every time he said he would, we got to be looking at a cool mill right now. Was he raising that thing 10 cents a time? He says significant. It's all the time, though. Did SQQQ when it was in the zone? Nice job. I did SQQQ the other day. I watched it hit the zone. So I'm on that train with you. You got a better entry. All right. Expected move. Nothing. Real quick, before we get this morning, I know this is going to be a morning clip. Let's just look at a couple big tech names. Tesla did a whole lot of nothing today. Did anybody move? Meta, a little bit of a gap down. Almost at the expected moves. Microsoft gapped up, sold off, kind of like the rest of everything else. Nvidia, nothing. I feel like Nvidia's going to hang out. And earnings is going to be what sends it to one of these zones. Amazon sold off a little bit. Apple had an announcement with OpenAI that's going to come on their iPhones. I didn't actually check it. There's some in the chat talking about how it could be a market mover today. I don't think it ever will be. I have, just for reference, guys, I have an iPhone, and I have ChatGPT on there. So if the new phones come with it already on there, it would literally mean nothing to me. Because when I go get a new phone, it just brings the old apps, brings everything over. So it'd be more work to go in there and actually take it off. unless there was something else that got announced. Clearly, nobody cared about it because Apple's Apple. NASDAQ wasn't really up. It's cool that they're at least trying. There's like an AI headline out there for Apple. It's not something they could say all the time. Google, I did not notice Google today with a gap down and then sent it today. So, whoa, wait a second. We weren't actually selling off. We just need to hang out. What happened with Google today? Please don't tell me because Apple. I don't want to hear that. Google-backed Anthropic's releases Claude chatbot across Europe. Rumble sues Google over digital advertising practices. You guys are probably going to start seeing a lot of this with AI coming out as we sort this out. I got to say right now, anybody getting sued, if it comes to Amazon, Google, or Meta, just so you guys know, there's usually a video later of me talking about how much I made on that. When someone's going to take these guys to court and the stock sells off because of that, I'm buying it. It's like common practice. It's a monopoly. Yeah, send it. You're right. Melt that thing down. I'm buying every share. Okay? Because then it usually gets dropped. If you guys don't know, that's how a lot of politicians play their game. They flex their muscles a little bit. But there's a lot of AI stuff that is just uncharted territory. So we got to just see. We got to set the precedent for that. So any of that stuff, let it go.